Hey, what is up guys? This is Nishi from MST.TV here, and today we are running through the cards that I'm predicting will be reprinted in OTS Tournament Pack 22. That set should be officially released on July 19th, so we'll probably start to see some leaks within the next week or so. I thought it might be fun to do something other than Market Watch, where you guys can let me know what your own predictions are and wishlist cards are down in the comment section. Let's get started. Okay, so first up, we're looking at two cards actually, and I think we're going to get a couple of Superheavy Samurai reprints, even though they are really just a little bit too late. I think that Soul Piercer is 100% going to be a super rare. It was one of the more expensive commons that we've seen in the last little while, leading up to the release of Cyberstorm Access and the following ban list, and we know that these reprint sets are determined several months before they come out, so probably well before even Konami knew what exactly was going to be on the list at all. So yeah, Soul Piercer is probably going to be on there, and what would have made a lot of people happy is just going to make some people even saltier. That being said, I think there will be one other super rare Superheavy Samurai card. I could see it being any number of things, something like Scales maybe, but I put Motorbike here because I think it makes sense to see some new and some old cards. But yeah, given the time at which Konami probably made this set, it wouldn't really surprise me to see not one, but two Superheavy Samurai cards given rarity bumps, though it's obviously going to be too little too late. Continuing on with cards that are a bit past due, I also have Mathmech Diameter on here. A lot of players were really excited for Mathmech this upcoming format. The new Spirit monster gave them cool ways to start off and be a little bit more consistent, and they also just got Link Decoder in Battles of Legend Monstrous Revenge as well. However, they just recently had Mathmech Circular hit to 1 in the TCG, and unfortunately that's going to be a really big hit to the deck, as it was a really cool one-card starter. The deck is still actually playable. They can run Small World and Signet Mining to get access to their one copy of Circular, and I believe the deck still does see success at the regional level. As we just mentioned, these sets are probably determined several months in advance, so it wouldn't surprise me if Diameter was already included in the set. On top of that, I think that most of the other Mathmech cards were printed as super rares in their original sets, so Diameter coming out as a super rare would actually be pretty nice and keep the whole archetype together. Okay, on to a couple of more relevant ones here. I know that Traptrix aren't exactly a top tier deck right now, but they're actually pretty annoying to play against sometimes. If they really get their engine going, they can generate a lot of card advantage and get really far ahead. Anyways, Traptrix are a popular deck with a lot of players because Traptrix got their own structure deck and are pretty cheap to put together, on top of being a deck that features a lot of girls on them. One thing I can definitely see Konami doing is giving a structure deck exclusive card a rarity bump in an OTS tournament pack, so even those players that are on a budget will be incentivized to enter tournaments and try to upgrade their cards wherever possible, and Terrifying Trap Hole Nightmare fits this criteria perfectly. This is actually a really good card for the strategy, and I'm definitely expecting this to be included in order to help bling out the deck. Next up, I have Runick Slumber getting a super rare bump. I feel like if we're going to see some Runick cards get a bump early, it would have to be now, while basically all of the cards have not yet been reprinted. The Runick cards are expected to be in the 2023 Megatins, but the focus of the tins is to improve the accessibility of cards, so for things like Fountain and Tip and Hugin, as well as for those cards that are already hollow to be upgraded further, so we could possibly see like a Freezing Curses or Flashing Fire get upgraded to Ultra or Secret Rare. However, a bit earlier on is when we could see the Runick cards that are not yet hollows finally get upgraded. Slumber is a card that I believe Runick decks play at 1 or 2. Obviously, Runick is slightly less strong with Fountain going to 2 on the most recent ban list, but I don't think that that is too huge or significant of a hit, which is why the engine is still alive and performing reasonably well. Sometimes those rarity bumps come a bit too early, like how the Rescue Ace field spell already has a super rare reprint somehow, but I think that we should see a Runick OTS bump in this next OTS tournament pack before the tins upgrade everything else. Now, speaking of Rescue Ace, I think it only makes sense that we see another Rescue Ace card get a rarity bump in OTS 22. Initially, I think we all thought that Rescue Ace was just going to be another flop of a strategy. They definitely didn't look that great to start off with. However, they're getting two really amazing cards in Duelist Nexus, and in the OCG, that was enough for the deck to become top tier. Obviously, the two games are different, so the deck just might not perform as well here as it did over there. However, I know that a lot of players are really excited to see exactly what Rescue Ace can do, so it'll be fun to see how the cards coming out in Duelist Nexus manage to affect the format. I think that Extinguish coming out as a super makes a lot of sense. The card is basically a pop for the deck, and it's one of the important interruptions that you can set directly out of the deck with the effect of Turbulence. However, I could honestly see a couple of different things getting upgraded. Probably the traps like Contain or Extinguish as well, so take your pick of which one you want to see. But I think that with the support that they're getting in the next core set, we should most likely see either 1 or 2 rarity bumps for the Rescue Ace deck. Okay, so I almost forgot about these ones, but I think that these two should most likely be included in OTS Tournament Pack 22 as well, and it's both Purrely and Purrely Sleepy Memory. So everyone was really scared of what Purrely would become here in the TCG with the new cards that came in Cyberstorm Access, but to everyone's surprise they came out as commons. This was a really huge surprise, since they were some of the most hyped cards to come out of the set, but it became pretty obvious why when Delicious Memory got hit to 1. The deck is still pretty strong, it still performs really well at top tables and made it pretty far at the NAWCQ, but the deck isn't as strong as it would have been with Delicious Memory at 3. I guess on one hand, we should take this as a warning. When cards get these lower rarity printings like Purrely and Superheavy Samurai did, it might just be because those decks won't have as long as a life on the competitive scene as other decks. However, Purrely is still a really popular strategy, the deck is really cute and can still be pretty scary, and as we've said, Konami probably maybe didn't know what the next ban list would look like or how hard they would hit certain decks when they were developing the set. But with so much of the rest of the deck already coming hollow in Amazing Defenders, it only really makes sense to me that we also see these surprisingly common cards get rarity bumps as soon as possible. And finally, you know, there's always 1 or 2 dud cards in each of these OTS tournament packs that some players just aren't that excited to see. Sometimes they make sense and sometimes they will not. I mean, we've seen some pretty weird things like Gadget Gamer, Morphtronic Earphone, Ninjutsu Art Notebook. Those all I think got reprinted in OTS Tournament Pack 20. So not all super rare choices are going to be amazing, even though they support a card or archetype that recently came out or got support in a recent set. So for my choice this time around, I think that Purrely, the Jewel Mokkanko, is going to get a super rare upgrade. It's kind of a weird one, but I think it's not a bad card for the Mokkanko archetype, but that's a deck that has girls on it, and it getting a super rare upgrade to match the Fire and Water Mokkanko monsters that came out in Amazing Defenders would look nice for players who want to collect the entire strategy. So to me, it makes a lot of sense if Purrely takes up a super rare slot, even though a lot of players probably aren't going to be that thrilled about it. I guess one thing to note briefly, we should be getting some sort of token, but I think it's kind of pointless to guess what we're going to be getting. I mean, we really need a Sword Soul token and an Adventurer token, but last OTS tournament pack we got a Black Feather counter, so yeah, let's just hope we get something a little bit cooler this time around. I personally really like Sword Soul, I really love the archetype, I played it when it was really big, so I hope that we get a Sword Soul token, but I mean an Adventurer token would be pretty cool too. Okay, so we're going to try and guess what the ultimate rares will be, and of course we know that one of them is going to be Branded Fusion, but we're guessing the other 2 here. I'm trying to think of what else there could be. One that keeps on coming to mind is Ultimate Rare Baron de Fleur. Baron is one of the most iconic synchro monsters in the game right now. I think it's arguably the best level 10 synchro that we have available, and it feels like every single deck that can make it will run it. Even in Kashtira, right? You don't usually make synchro plays, but you have level 7 monsters and you play Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, so on the off chance that you need to, you can normal summon Ash and tune it with a Kashtira monster, so you run Baron because it's just that good. So yeah, I know that we just got the collector's rare printing of it in Maze of Memories, but I feel like it wouldn't really stand out the way that an ultimate rare does because sometimes the collector's rare printings are a bit harder to distinguish. I feel like an ultimate rare Baron would be a really cool alternate high rarity version to the collector's rare, and we actually haven't had a single synchro monster come out in ultimate rare yet in an OTS tournament pack, so I think it would be pretty cool to see Baron break that trend and get that ultimate rare printing. And for the other ultimate rare, I'm going to go with Evenly Matched. So the card I was going to put here was actually Visa Starfrost, but I feel like with how much Konami has hyped up the Albaz and Starfrost lores, they probably would have put it in the set announcement if they did decide to include Visas, leading me to think that it's not going to be in here, but rather in the next OTS tournament pack that comes out. So instead, I think that it should be about time that we got a nice high rarity printing of Evenly Matched, and I really think that an Ultimate Rare Evenly Matched would just be so cool. I feel like with the perspective of the art of Evenly Matched, the texturing would really be cool, the Ultimate Rare would really help you to see the depth of the card, and it even has those lines running in the background that look like they could be the lines behind Ulti Fenrir, Blue, and Rhino Heart. I don't know, I've always thought it's kind of strange that Evenly hasn't gotten any sort of high rarity printing other than its original secret rare printing, so I think that this might finally be the time that we see it. And of course, Evenly Matched was used for the Top Cut mat at the NAWCQ, so this iconic card would be a great one to finally see get that Ultimate Rare upgrade. Alright guys, that is all we have for today's episode. We finally got a couple of spoilers for Duelist Nexus, so hopefully the rest of them should be dropping pretty soon. I'm really excited to see the new TCG exclusive archetype that's going to be coming out in Duelist Nexus. The artwork looks really amazing, so I'm hoping that they'll be at least somewhat competitive so I can try them out at my locals. Anyways guys, if you did enjoy today's episode, please make sure that you let me know by hitting that thumbs up button. Also make sure you leave a comment in the comments section down below, and if you haven't already, do make sure that you hit that subscribe button. And until next time guys, don't forget to hold on to your MST.TV.